Hi, Chalice folks. I just wanted to put together a hopefully quick message, but lifting up why it's important to us to have children in our worship on Sunday morning. We had, five or six children this past Sunday, and it felt like it had been a while since we had a little group of children, and it felt so great. And it just reminded me I wanted to talk about this a little bit with all of us. So children are welcome in worship for the full hour every Sunday. Uh, there is no mandate or request from the congregation that the children leave the chapel. Of course, they often do to go to RE classes, but I know there have been times that sometimes a child wants to stay with their parents. So whether it's a sermon or a multi-gen service, they're always welcome to be in the chapel. If you have any concerns about the subject matter, like once in a blue moon, we have maybe some subject matter that I'm not always thinking about young children when I'm crafting the sermon. So that would be a good thing to touch base with me about that. But you would normally be able to spot that. I mean, I had a sermon on sex trafficking one time and was very gentle about that for the whole congregation. But most Sundays are going to be just fine. And it's the norm that 3 of the 4 Sundays a month that there are RE classes in the morning. Religious education is what RE stands for. And so the children leave to go to classes, or sometimes they go directly to classes. Sometimes they go directly to class because that's what the class has requested if they have a full morning. And sometimes it's the parents and the child who want the children to go into childcare first rather than coming into the chapel. So this message is to encourage our parents on Sunday morning to bring the children into the chapel for the first part of the service. And that's not a mandate. And I know every family has to decide for themselves what's working on Sunday morning. And I know it can be a little bit, it can be for different families, maybe a tumultuous moment when the child is leaving for class. Maybe it feels hard to go. Maybe we have parents who feel like they need to go with them and come back in. So I know all of that is complicated. I just want to lift up, we love having the children in the chapel for the first part of the service, the whole service if they want to. And of course, we have a monthly multi-generational service where there are no RE classes, and we hope that families and multiple generations will come for that service. I know that is extra work for the parents. There's two main reasons why I think it's important. One is that many of our families are coming to church because of the children. They want children's religious questions answered and to have a community for them. And we want children to have the experience of being in worship. It can be a strange thing to have children raised in a religious community and never have had the experience of being in worship. And it sort of teaches them that they're not part of the worship life of the community. And I think it makes it a harder transition for them as they become adults to actually start to become worship attenders, which is, the offering for adults on Sunday morning. So part of it is to help give them a sense of themselves as attending worship that they can have as part of their upbringing, and as they can get older someday when they're yearning for a community, that they remember what it was to be in worship and can go and feel comfortable in the religious community that they were raised in. We don't want to send the message that they're separate from congregational life. Children are part of our congregational life. Our religious community is multi-generational. So that's sort of the first piece. The second piece is that it is good for all of us to have children in worship. We have adults who don't necessarily have a lot of interaction with children outside of our community. And, I know we all know that adults can sometimes feel fussy about children in the service or making noise. I know our families worry about that. It is good for all of us to know that we have younger members who make a little more noise, have a harder time sitting still, because actually it lifts up we might have many members who have a harder time sitting still. The worship hour can be a challenge for people of all ages. And the more we can sort of broaden our tolerance and embrace of different ways of being in the room together, I think the more open and generous that makes all of us. So for example, we have a story every Sunday, and the story is for all of us. Those of us who are adults, don't often have the experience of being read to, or maybe we don't see, the beautiful illustrations of children's stories in any other context. So it's part of our worship life. And I'm sure you can sense that the story has become a very important part of our worship life. So yeah, even though the children are invited up, we consider that to be a moment for all of us. And we have the story even when no children are present. It's an integral part of the service. So yeah, just lifting up, we want the children in the worship. And it's up to the parents. There's no judgment if you need the children to go into childcare first, or that's up to you all. And I know that multi-generational service, which is, we hope it's more interesting and alluring for children than a sermon-focused service. And, I'm always working on making that better. And it's very much an evolution. What we're comfortable with after the pandemic has changed. It used to be before the pandemic, like I could pretty reliably have a thing where you came up to a microphone and people liked that. And I feel like there's a lot more discomfort with that than there used to be for people of all ages. And maybe we have a different group of younger children who are less theatrical. It may be that we all feel a little shyer coming out of the pandemic. Or more tired on Sunday mornings, or whatever it is. And so I'm, we have our Beloved Dead service coming up, and I'm still considering, if we're going to have a microphone part of the service. The service is called We Call Our Beloved Dead. But anyway, I'm thinking about that. So it's always evolving, and trying to get better. I know that the worship hour is really challenging for, our attention spans have become really suited to, all of the TV and YouTube and things going really fast. The worship hour is much slower. It's quieter. It's a very different experience. I think that's actually one of the reasons it's really important. The experience of live music and some of the things we do in worship is becoming even rarer in our world. So, but that means it can be, a higher bar for children to sit through. So just wanting to lift that all up, we definitely want to work with our families on helping make Sunday morning a good experience that way. So the second part of my message for all of us is feel free to message me about anything I've just said or questions you have. And so this is a good moment actually to lift up. As we know, our religious communities, not just ours, every religious community is the target of people trying to perpetrate scams on us. And the last round came by text message, and we think it would probably be those of you who do have my number and text me about various things have sort of an auto protection in that my phone number is already in your phone. And when someone texts you saying they're me, you spot quicker that that's not me because you have me in your phone already. So we actually want to encourage Chalice congregants to put my phone into your cell phone and put me in there to help you spot. And then that's an easy way. You can just text me when you get another text and ask, was this you? This phone number was already available to you. It's in the directory. It's in the monthly newsletter that comes out. But this is me specifically encouraging you to put me in your phone. And you can actually, when you do that, you can shoot me a quick message then to test it out and let me know who you are. And then I can put you in my phone. And then I can see your name when it comes up if you ever need to contact me. I will asterisk. In general, I don't answer my phone when I don't know who's calling. So, shooting me a text message first and asking if there's a good time to talk is usually the more efficient way of getting in touch with me. But if you leave a voicemail, I listen to voicemail and we'll figure out a time to talk. And I also tend to assume if you're calling me that it's a bit of an emergency. So that's another reason why text message might be better, to let me know what's an emergency and what's not an emergency. And then for those of you who don't text or phone or just want to know, this is a reminder. This is my email address. I'm always happy to hear from you, and especially to get, hear what's going on in your life and get your prayer requests. We lift this up on Sunday morning during the Joys and Sorrows time. So, just wanting to lift up how important children and families are in our community, and how it may not always be visible, or it may not be as obvious as I hope, but we're really working to try and make the Sunday morning experience accessible to children. Yeah, and like I just said, we really get, as I'm sure you see, that the Sunday morning is a very different vibe from most of all of the other things that you have going on in your lives. And for you as an adult, that's part of the attraction. But for children, it's there's a little more work involved with helping them be oriented to what's happening. And we all, and the whole community, rejoices in seeing children racing around the courtyard and playing together after the service. So anyway, I hope this is encouraging and reassuring to you about having your children at worship, and they're welcome in our community. Sending all of you lots of love. Take gentle care of yourselves. The world is stressful. Love you.